Don't be afraid to apologize. Because he was trying to, but
he was trying, but without saying it. But there was power if he would have said it.
Hey, man, my bad.
Yeah.
I know, maybe I went too far. My bad.
Come on, let's go.
Let's go.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired today.
You're tired.
But my energy is being dominant than my fatigue.
You know, we could be tired on the outside, but energetic on the inside.
You know, it's so funny that you say that because I remember I had said that it doesn't matter if you're running, walking, sleeping, sprinting, your spirit is always at ease.
Yeah. And you know what? As I was leading to that, it's vice versa too. We could be energetic on the outside, but tired on the inside.
Yeah.
And that's where internal care needs to come in.
Yeah, no, you're right. And right now I'm in full abandonment of the internal.
What is that?
This is a Red Bull.
A Red Bull. Tome, mijo, tome.
I don't encourage anyone to, mess with energy drinks. I'm tired. That's it, but we're going to knock it out.
Let's knock it out.
You said internal
care.
Internal
care.
You know that when people come to our podcast, that's what they're searching for.
Yeah.
Is internal care. I have this thing where I always, when I get into a space of talking to somebody and they ask me for advice, or even when I would ask somebody for advice, if you really, really, really think beyond everything, no one ever really tells us anything we don't already know.
No.
Think about that.
Yeah, if I could say it's all repeat.
Repeat and reassurance. We want constant reassurance.
Yes.
Because you're not going to go somewhere where they're going to tell you something brand new. Someone may say something in another form, but ultimately, we've already heard that. We even know that.
Yeah.
And we still stay in that stagnation. Why do you think that is?
It's comfort zone. They if anything that comes out, it's where they feel safe. They feel safe. And I could speak even for myself. There was one point in my life where I was comfort in misery. I was comfort in my damagedness. It's where I felt like if I stepped out, it was my blanket. It kept me warm. You know how people like to stay in bed for 2 days straight, just hug the pillow? Well, the misery is the blanket that holds you down, that keeps you warm in the safety net. But we have to get up. Like, even you say you're tired, but you went to the gym this morning too, right?
I did.
Yeah, you had to get up and you had to force yourself to go. And, even if you did little progress is still big progress, but it's that step of
progress.
Yeah. As
long as there's progress. I mean, to me, progress means you're moving forward.
Yeah.
You're going that way. Even if you're just walking, you're moving that way.
Yeah.
When you're just standing still, you're not progressing.
There's levels of progress. I'll give you a perfect example. When I go to the gym, I make progress. But when Uno invites me to the gym, there's a special type of progress. This is like a different level of progress that I know I'm going to have to put. So, I grab the pre-workout. You see me, I have the water, and I'm like, I'm mentally prepared because I know I'm in a different level of progress.
Right.
And I think there's different levels.
It's like when I go with coach.
Yeah.
It's like when I'm training by myself, I'm like, all right, I'm getting it. But when I go train with him, within the first 5 minutes, I know that I'm on another level, that he's on another level.
Of course. When you train with me, it's practice. When you train with coach, you're in a game.
Yeah, that's funny.
But that's like in life, like what kind of progress are we looking at? If we're staying in the same progress, when does it stop being progress and just become stagnant? We have to go to the next level.
Yeah. No, yeah. And, I think, look at all the damage, though, that gets done by the time, and don't get me wrong, this is going to sound like an oxymoron because it's good that at some point we make a decision to say is enough and enough is enough. And then you move forward. But look at the damage during that stagnation.
Oh, yeah, of course. And like you said, you have to come to a point of understanding like enough is enough, but many times they don't know when enough is enough. So like when they come to a podcast like this right here, this is like the hospital for them. It's like the emergency room. They come in to check in And mind you, we've had to be in an emergency room ourselves to be able to come right
I mean,
here.
I've done the podcast from the emergency room, in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, where I've been hurting while I've been here. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. Like when I speak in front of crowds, one of my things is when I talk, I'm talking to myself.
You've told me that.
Everyone else is just there to listen and to witness.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I heard Sadhguru day before yesterday. He was saying that our data, you know, that we become best friends with our data.
Yeah.
And that we have conversations with ourselves based on that data, and that we refuse to be open to, you know, conversing with, you know, with reality. Because in a sense is this, you fall in love more with the idea of what something can be instead of reality.
Oh, that's so good.
So your heart doesn't necessarily ever break. The illusion of that breaks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're so confined in the idea of it, you know, and dismantling the thought process or the foundation of the thought process that takes you to that space.
Yeah.
You know, like imagine if more people really focused on, you know what, like I'm tired of being unhappy, instead of like, I'm going to put on a smile even though I'm unhappy. You know, because that's dangerous.
Yeah, I think those conversations do happen, but it just stays in the mind, though. It becomes like daydreaming. I wish I could change. I do need to change.
I need to stop drinking.
Yeah,
I need to stop doing drugs.
Yeah, I need to leave that one person alone. I need to control my anger. I need to get out of depression. And then they move on to something else. They don't hold on to that and improve out of that. Instead, it just becomes a thought, a distant memory, and then it becomes daydreaming.
Wow, and they live in that dream.
They live in that dream. They build up their own reality of that's where I want to be. So they can't wait to get back into bed. They can't wait to be alone because they want to go back into that fantasy world.
And the damage that is done during that process, though.
It's just,
You know, I remember, you know, during the beginning of my journey, as I would experience the fruits of growing, where I would tell myself, like, damn, why didn't I do this before? You know what I'm saying? Like, or it was almost unbelievable what a little bit of growth does to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's so powerful that even a little bit is the magnitude of it is crazy.
Yeah.
Because it changes your standing still. It changes your being stagnant. It changes you just being stuck. You know, it's like if your car is, the battery's dead and you keep trying to turn it on, and then you go, hey, you hear, vroom. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It changes everything.
It does.
Because there's hope.
Yes.
What does that do? It gives you hope.
Yeah.
Or when the light bulb, the switch, and then you see a little bit of light.
A little flicker.
Yeah. It's hope.
Yeah.
So a little flicker of hope.
A little flicker is more than enough, because how much of a flicker that we had to get into that we keep going. Like we constantly keep growing ourselves. Like there are things that I'm reading, there's things that I listen to that just blows my mind, that no matter how far I've grown, I'm still like, wow, that has impressed, that's really changed my thought process. And then I start studying more. Like that little flicker allows me to go more. It allows me to push and drive.
And, you know, but here's the thing, like we have to engage with trying to activate that flicker, because you cannot be dependent on or at least have your self-belief system be so, what's the word I'm looking for? Absolute, that someone else is responsible for your happiness. No, but the thing is that most of humanity and most of society really believe that that's what it is.
Well, they believe in that because they look at it as the absolute is the whole car, instead of it just being the gasoline to move you forward.
Wow. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. What do you think happens when somebody gets completely consumed in their own narrative? Not only that they hurt other people, but they hurt themselves and can't get themselves out.
it just doesn't affect us. It affects everyone around us. It affects our surroundings.
You know, it affects your health too.
It affects our health, our inward.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the stress, the anger, the depression, the anxiety, everything kicks in. We may think we're just doing a crack, but we're opening windows for different type of emotions to come in. And then now we're flooded with emotions that we can't even think clearly because our vision's blurry, our future's cloudy, and we feel like we're in a rut.
And you're consumed in yesterday.
You can consume in
Yesterday is clear as day.
Yeah. Like
Yesterday becomes today.
Like it's not even a new day. It's not even the present because you're still thinking about, yesterday I felt like this. Oh, yesterday they did me wrong. Oh, yesterday, why did they say that?
And
Why
10
didn't they
years go
respond
by
back
and
to me?
It's the same thing.
Exactly. But we don't have to live in yesterday. No, today's a new day. Today's a brand new day to step forward, to move forward. And I think many times, like you said, we're caught up in yesterday that we forget that a day is passing. A new opportunity was just...
I remember when I would binge, when I was an alcoholic, and I would go into these crazy binges, man. Like I would literally lose 15, 20 days. Mm-hmm. Like I remember like when I was trying to get out of it and I go get a haircut and I'd be like, it's the 23rd. Like I went to the bar on the 5th. Like you literally lose time of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, how dangerous is that? But look, then I would reflect on how much damage I would do.
You know, the alcohol was for you. For me, it was a stress eating. Like I will just eat my stress, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, why did I do that? Now all of a sudden I look in the mirror like, oh, I don't even feel like my old self, and then it holds me back. It's like, wow, how did I get to this point? All of a sudden, because I'm start going through day to day, and all of a sudden I'm gaining weight, and I'm now holding in myself, and my self-image is being destroyed because of my inward self. So my inward self starts to display on my outward self.
Wow, and that's so true. I mean, the other day I was talking to somebody I was training with, and he said, man, like, how do you do this every day? I said, the same way that I used to destroy myself every day, only I do it the opposite.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have to say anything before for someone to know that I was not in a good place.
Yeah.
I don't have to say anything right now for someone to know that I'm in a good place.
Exactly.
You know, so like you said, it displays on its own.
Yeah.
It just absolutely does display on its own.
Exactly.
It's like the sun. We could use it a suntan or to sunburn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I use this phrase a lot. It's what I do in public needs to reflect in private. So it's the vice versa. So who I am in private needs to reflect in public, and who I am in public needs to reflect who I am in private. It needs to go vice versa. So I don't need to tell you who I am in public. It needs to first. I need to do it in public, because that will speak a lot of who I am, my character, of everything.
Yeah, you know, I think I might have texted you this quote that says, since we can give more time to our life, we should give more life to our time.
Wow, yeah, I remember that. It was at 1:22 a.m.
I was asleep. I was trying to give more life to the time. Yeah, but I mean,
but that's so true though. That's really well.
In a few words, you know how powerful.
Oh yeah,
that is. You know, every time I go to the gym when I'm not training with coach, and I see all these people trying to better themselves. Like there's somebody there in the wheelchair at the gym. You've seen him.
Yeah,
he's in the wheelchair. He's like 68 years old. You know, there's another man that's impaired, and he's there hitting the bag.
Yeah,
and I've seen older people there, you know, training, and you know, time doesn't discriminate.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like one day we're like this physical form is going to start deteriorating.
Yeah.
Sadhguru said, like every day is a day closer to your grave.
Yeah.
So make it count.
Make it count. But we don't want to make it count. We want to hold on to the past. We want to hold on to the emotion. We want to hold on to the pain. But
what you did.
Yeah.
You did this, and so did this person.
Or hold on to my glory days. When I was fit, I was able to do what you're doing now. No, you can still do it now.
Still do it now.
You know, just because you hit a lump, we could climb back out and we could get back to where we were.
What do you think about like habitual victimization?
Oh, that's a really good. It's inward. It's personal. It's when I say it's personal, it's like we do it, we have the power. We give it the authority it doesn't have. It's all inward. Everything's inward on that, and it's.
I mean, you got to remember, like victimization is it's a circus.
Oh yeah,
it's a circus.
It's a one-man circus.
It's a one-man circus unless you're in line buying a ticket to join that circus.
You ever seen a ringmaster buying their own ticket?
Crazy. Yeah. That's it. I mean, being like I've done it in my past, like through my darkest times, because you don't want to see yourself. Yeah. You don't like who you are.
Yeah.
So the easiest thing to do is to go attach yourself to something else and put the blame on that.
Yeah.
And say like, hey, I'm suffering right now. How come you can't see that I'm suffering right now? You shouldn't be doing this to me right now because I'm not in a good place. Yeah. I didn't put you in that bad place. You put yourself in that.
Those are the words. And I mean, you use the words I and me in there, but we have the power to use I and me in a different form. But if you choose to use those words, it's because you want to stay stuck in that. You want those feelings. I want other people to feel how I feel right now. I want you to know how upset I am. So I'm going to display it on you. That is
crazy.
That is crazy.
One time when I was watching this show, and something as simple as, the world humanity yearns for a more peaceful world. Mm-hmm. In order for that to happen, we need more peaceful people.
Yeah. Like
everybody wants to grow, but they all want to stay the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They want everyone to grow, but they want everyone to grow around them instead of us evolving and moving forward. It's like being stuck. It's like just, you ever seen a tree and it's an apple tree and just one of it is just like bearing, it's already disgusted. It's already bearing different colors and it just stands out. And yet if it stays on that tree, it's going to affect all the other apples.
That's crazy.
There's life and death found in the power of the tongue. So it's how we speak into ourselves.
It's like the sunburn and the suntan.
Yeah, exactly. We touched on that. Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
No, but the power of the tongue, yeah, because I do know that I've experienced both sides of it. Mm-hmm. I've been brutal with my tongue. I've learned how to hold my tongue back. And, I think that when somebody or when somebody chooses words to hurt you over and over and over, sometimes it's worse than being slapped in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you get slapped in the face right now, what's going to happen? It's going to leave a red mark, but it's going to fade.
It's going to go away.
The words
stay.
It's like finding a spot where you're able to stab, and once they find the right word, they twist the knife and it stays in you. It's a scar. It leaves you a mark. All of a sudden, when you think back of it, it feels like a little pain because you're touching that scar, you're touching that memory. Is words. Words have effect. So the reason people use words to hurt other people because they want you to feel how low they feel.
Yeah.
It's when we're at our lowest of the lowest, the words we want other people to feel.
And not only that, but when you're at the lowest of the lowest, like you're not practicing self-love.
No.
If you're not practicing self-love, then you're going to self-destruct. You're going to self-abuse. You're going to demoralize your own self because you love, like you can't do anything out of purity if you don't love yourself.
Exactly. You can't love others if you don't love yourself. We touched on that we were at the gym. We were talking about that. But
remember, the word love gets thrown around.
It does.
And like, you don't love me.
Yeah.
Because why? Because I don't accept your abuse. Like, now you don't love me. Like, why? Because I won't continue to come here and allow you to do this to me. Or you don't love me. Why? Because I'm not agreeing with your conditions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and not only that, but when you start trying to prove yourself and trying to prove your innocence in a sense.
Yeah, you're trying to justify.
Just like, no. Yeah. That's not a relationship.
No, that's not love.
When you're running for your life, that's not a relationship.
Yeah.
When you have anxiety before you see that person, that's not a relationship.
In 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it says that love is patient, love is kind, love never gets jealous, love is pure, love it does not do no wrongdoing, and love forgives. Like, love does not hold on to the past. It shows you compassion.
That's crazy because so many people talk about church, so many people talk about God,
Yeah.
so many people talk about God is great and are in the full-blown hypocrisy of it.
Yes, and then shows the opposite, of
opposite.
that, because in John it says that God is love and love is God. Like, so you're saying that you're able to say that you love God but don't love people, like,
Yeah.
or you don't even love yourself.
Or I'm going to batter you and I'm going to disrespect you and I'm going to demoralize you. And I'm not going to be open to how many times I've been forgiven by you.
Yeah. When you were at your lowest of your lowest, did you love yourself?
No.
No. So because you didn't love yourself, did you display that towards other people?
Yes.
Yeah. So
And I did things that displayed that I didn't love myself, disrespect myself.
yeah.
You know, not only that, but just, I'll give you an example. The other day, I'm walking out of the gas station. I see this older dude, you know, and he whispers when I'm walking out. He says, "Are you a gang member?" And I'm caught off guard, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Huh? What did you say?" He's like, "Are you a gang member?" I'm like, "Why are you asking me that?" He's like, "The tattoos on your neck." I said, "It's art. Why are you like pigeonholing me
Yeah.
into being a gang member?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then I go back and I'm putting the gas and he's right next to me. And he says, "So are you a gang member?" I said, "Hey, bro, like, I don't know you."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, what's up, dog? Like, do we have a problem?" He tells me, right? So at that point, I went backwards.
Yeah.
I like took my glasses off and I'm like, it's going to be really bad for this dude right now.
Yeah.
You know, and he saw that. And he's like, "Whatever, man." He goes, "No." I go, "No, whatever. Come back here."
Yeah.
Okay, right here, I'm abandoning everything that I'm talking right now.
Yeah.
Because my you know, I felt
Your
complete.
emotions.
Yeah,
started-
I felt like he was like trying to bully me because I was being like, you know, somewhat like, "Hey, man, like,
yeah.
relax, man. Like, why are you asking me that?"
You took advantage of that moment.
Yeah,
and
like,
kept
you know, and
pushing.
then he's like, "Do we have a problem, dog?" And then so when I like got myself, I'm like, let me tell you how ridiculous you sound right now. You asking me if I have a problem, dog, means that you are looking for confrontation. Do you want at your age and my age to be right here in this parking lot, a gas station at night, fist fighting? That's what you want to do? Because if we do that, you're going to stay here. He's like, no, I get it. And then I said, "What?" I go, "I'm sure you're a father." I said, "I'm a father. But what my children think?" He's like, "I don't have any kids." I'm go, "That explains your behavior."
Yeah.
He's like, "I already said." I go, "Just apologize. Don't be afraid to apologize."
Yeah.
Because he was trying to, but his like,
He was trying, but without saying it. But
Yeah.
there was power if he would have said it.
"Hey, man, my bad.
Yeah.
I know, maybe I went too far. My bad."
Yeah.
You know, so like in my brain, I'm like, I'm gonna like I'm afraid of myself when I'm angry. Like if I get angry, like I am scared of myself because everything goes out the window. So one of the things that I always try to make sure is that I catch myself, nurture myself consistently, stay away from environments that want to poke at the bear,
Yeah.
you know, because that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
You know, again, we have to make conscious choices of where we decide to go, what time, who, why, when.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you would never see me at a bar. You would never see me at, you know, I just don't put myself in that situation for that same reason.
Yeah.
So here I am, just going to go put some gas.
Yeah.
And I just felt like this dude was like antagonizing me.
Well, he was knocking on the door of your past to see if your past will answer and come back up.
And my past was like right
Yeah,
there.
you're like, "Let me out." Uno, I got this.
Yeah. Like, get
Let
out
the
way.
boogeyman come out. I'll handle him, and then I'll come back in. Like,
Yeah. So
that would've been easy.
I'm telling you, then I was
Yeah.
like, I thought about my kids.
yeah,
Like, what would they say? Like, if they see me like getting confronted or violent, physically violent,
Yeah.
you know? So, and I've preached this before. I've said, if someone ever, picks at me in the street, I just keep walking.
yeah,
Like, what? It's not worth it. You know what I mean? I'll end up in the shoe program in Pelican Bay one day because 8 seconds of my anger dictated the rest of my life.
yeah.
So I just, I kind of composed myself, and he gave me like a,
The best
bootleg apology.
but it was probably the best apology he could do at his level.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he got in his car and he left,
Yeah.
and I kind of sat in my car for a second, and I'm like, what just happened?
Well, yeah, you reevaluated what happened. But see, even at that moment, you're like, this is what I could do better at that time. This is what
I could have handled that better.
Yeah. Yeah, because your words actually were put to the test if someone came up to you, and you almost went this way, but you stood on course. And that's where I think we get caught off guard. It's like, do we stay on course or do we get the best of our emotions? Do we get the best of ourselves? Because what you described to me is the life of someone who follows Jesus. Like, I'm trying to do good. But if someone comes at me, do I go back to my old ways and do I stay true to who I am? And I tell you, in order to, is what we do. Every day we have to make sure align ourselves. We have to, you read, right? Every morning is like second nature. It's what I read the same thing, and I go and I'm building myself up. So I don't expect myself to get off course, but we read, we train for moments like this.
No, yeah, because I mean, even in some of the books that I read, like the level that they speak of, to some may seem that, like, for example, no ceilings, no walls, no doors, freedom, liberation, no desires. No, it almost tells you, like, stop being human, right?
Yeah.
But you live in a world with 6 billion human beings.
Yeah.
With different egos, different traits, different opinions, different personalities, different, And when you're in your peace and someone is stepping right on it, what do you do? It's like someone coming in your lawn that you've been working on for so long, patiently on a nice sunny day for years, and it's growing and it's beautiful, and you're minding your own business in your chair, and here comes a stranger out of nowhere on your property, just walking in and just walks right by the lawn you've been working so long on. What do you do?
I'm going to speak for myself. I've not always been the best version, but I took in a lot of self-discipline to get where I'm at a point right now. No matter if someone wants to sabotage my ego, sabotage my future, sabotage just of who I am, for me, it doesn't bother me if someone has something to say about me. It doesn't bother me if I'm not up to someone's expectations. It doesn't bother me if they stepped on my lawn. And it'll probably hurt me, but at that moment, it's going to pass, just like the slap.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to allow them to scar me. That will just be a mark, a red mark, and it's going to fade. Because later on at that night, if I'm still holding on to it, they're probably already onto someone else sabotaging somebody else.
No, and you're absolutely right. I just think, having the, like you said, the maturity and the self-discipline to be able to walk away from something that is going to absolutely disturb your peace.
Exactly.
Because think of what I just said, your peace.
Yes, peace.
Your
peace. And if anything, like, I know it'll be good, but if anyone else was put in the same position, I will tell them, hey, you know what? Be proud of yourself.
Right.
Because you know what? You handled it still good.
Right.
Like, imagine if someone did this to you 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
So think about how far you've come just by even, you almost did, but you didn't.
Yeah, but I didn't. Yeah. Like
That's just celebrate.
I caught myself back, and I'm like, yeah, like this, like, it was almost sad to me to see where he was at with his age.
Oh, of course.
And to see him like that. But you know what? I was able to see his inward contamination in his physical form.
Of course. He had it on display. It was oozing out of his pores.
Yeah.
It was coming out of his pores, but it was his inward self of how he felt.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know,
Yeah.
and again, like it's scary. Like you
Man.
end up saying words
Yes.
to the wrong person.
Yes. And people don't understand how that could go to a different route.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that story. That's actually a really incredible story of self-control, self-discipline, and your future. Like that story alone could help someone out. This is the type of stuff that they keep in their head, that if someone is looking to take a step back or to exit the route they're on, they're like, you know what? No, I could hold on and still push forward.
You know, on Easter, I was at the grocery store, and I was walking and I heard some commotion. I'm like, what is this? So I look down the aisle and I see a lady holding a baby and a little boy with her hand and, you know, trying to maneuver the cart.
Yeah.
And her husband was there and he was yelling at her. And he was being very disrespectful, like using profanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, like this is wrong.
Yeah.
So I went towards that aisle, you know?
Yeah.
I went towards the aisle and I made eye contact with the little boy. And he looked at me, bro, and he had fear in his eyes.
Yeah.
And the dad was being very aggressive. He was speaking in a very aggressive tone. So the closer I got, his tone started going down. So then I turned to my back, like to look at the frozen whatever. And I just went for it. And I said, hey, bro, happy Easter. I go, this is your wife. This is your family. It's not worth it. You're in a public place.
Yeah.
These are children. And he kind of looked at me and he just said, yeah. And I put my hand on his shoulder.
Yeah.
I go, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I go, this is your family. They could be gone tomorrow. And I walked away. And then I did my thing. And when I saw them back in line,
Yeah.
he was hugging her.
Yeah. There's a reason you're put in a position like that in time, because that's also putting you like, what do you do? You could have snapped and said, hey, bro, you don't disrespect women like that.
Yeah.
But you know what he needed? Just
A hug.
Yep.
There's so many people on this planet that all they need is a hug.
And if we misread the situation, our anger will jump on the anger when we need to react in grace, compassion, and love.
You know, it's so, what you just said is so powerful, though. It's so powerful to the point that I don't think people understand the magnitude of grace and forgiveness. You know, I always talk about apologies.
Yeah.
And there was a time in my life where I would apologize. And if I didn't get the reaction that I was looking for from that apology, that apology would go right out the window and I'd turn right back to a destructive animal.
Yeah.
Okay. What did that say? How rotten, how manipulative that was.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
As I've grown in my life, I see the power of a pure apology,
Yeah.
of true repent,
Yeah.
of being able to retain the shame. Because people people don't understand. That's where we grow from.
Yeah.
We grow from shame.
Yep.
We grow from repent
Yeah.
because we don't want to feel that again.
Yeah.
But when you continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over, it becomes animalistic. Mm-hmm. It becomes animalistic. How do you have a human form of mutualism with animalistic behavior? It's very difficult. Mm-hmm. You know, and this is synonymous to me saying about coffins and death. You know, people don't just die when their body expires. People die and get buried later.
Yeah.
And they just decompose in between that time.
Of course. They're the walking dead.
They are the walking dead. And it's very scary because sometimes it's people you love.
Yeah.
You know? And when you have this sense of empathy and you want to do for people and you want to make them better because you feel you can, there's nothing wrong with trying to help people.
No.
But the reality is that people have to want to help themselves.
Yeah.
Or nothing is going to change, including them.
There's a saying of a man, two men are walking forward trying to improve their life. One falls in a ditch hole, and the ditch hole represents falling back to the past. The other guy, instead of continuing to move forward, he goes back to help him out. So as he's trying to pull him out,
He pulls him in.
Pull back down. He's in the thing.
You go back to help, and you end up right back.
Yeah, so you go with good intentions, but you end up falling back to the same environment because you're not strong enough to go. So what he ended up doing was the story. The rest of the story goes is that God threw in the rope. He's climbing up, reached back out for the guy. The guy didn't want the hand, so he just kept moving. He didn't go back, and the saying is he didn't go back until he was as strong as an armored truck. But he wasn't. But the story is you'll never be as strong as an armored truck because we'll still fall. But as long as we're improving to go forward.
Improving to go forward.
Yeah.
You know, and not only that, but I think another thing that really comes with that, with like trying to move forward is when it comes from a pure place.
Yes.
You have hope that things are going to change.
Yeah.
So when you have hope and you're in this journey of moving forward, and the regressions keep on happening, you lose hope.
Hope is the fuel for faith. You know, I have faith that I'm going to see a better tomorrow. I have faith that my bill's going to be paid. I have faith that I'm no longer going to stay in this situation I'm in, that there's going to be a better day. There's going to be better opportunities. There's going to be a better work job because I have faith that I'm going to move forward. Now, grace is what we need. Grace is what grace is something we don't deserve, but it was given to us anyway. Grace is saying that, you know what, hey, my past does no longer represent me. My resume may look bad. I may have a resume, I may have a reputation, and it may not be pretty, but grace says that does not define who I am, that I'm still able to have a clean and clear future to move forward, to start brand new.
Well, all of that is true, but you have to be synonymously pure to that belief.
Yeah.
Because people can say that and not do their part to actually display that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, all of that sounds beautiful and all of that is true. But what about when you don't practice it?
Well, it needs
like you're right. Anybody can change. Anybody can grow. Anybody can move forward. Anyone can evolve. The conscious evolution of our soul. Anyone can keep going. But some people choose to remain in a space where they talk and they promise and they profess and nothing ever changes.
But that's because, within time, everything they say is becoming empty words though. They're talking, but nothing is coming out. And that's the same thing goes with the apple. You know, if the apple's not producing fruit, it's going to stand out. You know, I could tell you, I'm going to lose weight. I'm losing weight, but yet I look bigger than ever. It's like,
eventually, and that's crazy because that's how life really works.
Yeah.
Eventually, everything speaks for itself.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So these may be words, but there's got to be action behind it. And like I said, there's got to come to a point where I'm not saying it. Like for you, there's not going to come a point where it says like you're at your biggest weight. But if you look now, like the action spoke, like you're living it out. You know, you don't need to post on social media for them to see that, hey, you're doing a great job. It's the same thing. Like we got to actually put in the work because if not, we're not going to produce anything. It's gonna be empty.
Yeah, we can't, like watering the seed.
Yeah, so it sounds good in the beginning. It sounds great. Yeah, hope, grace, love. That's great. But in 3 weeks, you're still living like sabotage. If you're still sabotaging other people, you're still having a difficult mindset, stuck in anxiety, then that's just empty words.
And I just think for the other person, I mean, like, I know because I've been there on both sides. You know, I've been there when I've been the assassin of hope, and I've been there when the hope has been assassinated for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that a lot of disappointment comes when you feel your hope keeps getting pulled from under your feet. But then again, that comes with relying on somebody and expecting them to do something, which goes back to, I believe in you, right?
Yeah.
I believe in you and I believe in us, and that's why I'm here, and that's why we're going to move forward. And then when things don't happen, but I'm talking like thousands of times, not just like I just had a setback. I'm talking redundantly and repetitive letdowns.
Yeah.
Like you said, at some point, it's going to run out.
Yeah.
And there's nothing there. You've heard me say this a million times, and I'm going to say it again because this is very important to anybody watching, anybody listening. And I'll speak for myself because I think that it is very important that we understand the power of ownership. Okay? Years ago, when I went through a bad situation, I won't get into details because there's other people that I love involved.
Yeah.
And that situation became destructive. Okay. When I was in a dysfunctional state, the only thing I could do is find the reason to blame them. Okay. To make sure that none of this is my fault.
Yeah.
This is all your fault. Okay. Because you're not seeing this. Okay. Now that is what dysfunction does. It creates barriers between you and the truth.
Yeah.
Barriers between you and what is. Okay.
Well, it's because in everyone's movie, they have to be the good guy.
Oh, no, yeah. Okay. As I kept going, remember how we talked about eventually everything speaks for itself?
Yes.
Now, eventually you end up alone. Eventually, all that money you have gets spent.
Yeah.
Eventually, you know, you dissolve into a darkness where that light you thought you had, like a bulb, eventually it burns out.
Yeah.
The true light never dies.
Nope.
Okay. But it's got to be true, right?
Yes.
Now, as I was growing truthfully
Yes.
and purely, because that's how growth works. It'll touch you when you're doing it right.
Yes.
It removed those filters for me. You were wrong here. You shouldn't have done this. So now I can understand why certain things played out the way they did.
Yeah.
I had to take ownership of what my part was in that dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, you can't burn people from the root, whether it's words or whether it's action or whatever it is, because if you burn something from the root, it's not going to grow anymore.
Nope.
At least not with you.
Yeah.
You know? And you know what that does? It liberates you.
Yeah, it does.
It sets you free.
It does.
It sets you free from guilt. It sets you free from shame.
Shame, yeah. You're no
And
longer bonded by
no,
it.
you're not. You're not, because you actually, the best thing about doing something is knowing that you did it right.
Yeah.
And as my journey got further and further, guess what I was able to do when I felt that way? I was able to forgive purely.
Yeah.
Not only other people, but myself.
Yes. That's right. That right
I was
there.
able to forgive myself.
Yeah.
And when you're able to actually forgive yourself, then you're able to move on and consciously grow.
Whether they were able to receive the forgiveness or not
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter because you did it freely. You did it. You're free. You let it go. So
Yeah.
now it's on them.
Yeah.
But you are still walking a free life.
I did a lot of things that I regret in my past. You know, even recently, I've done things that I'm not happy about. And, you know, because we live in a world of options, we have the option to say, well, if they wouldn't have done this, I wouldn't have done that. You know, but the reality is this. If you stop your hygiene, you're going to smell.
Yeah.
If you don't brush your teeth are going to rot. If you don't pay your electric bill, your lights are going to get shut off. If you don't pay your rent or your mortgage, you won't have a home. If you don't put gasoline in your car, it's not going to move. And that is how everything else works. We have to do the maintenance in whatever it is that we are involved in to make sure that we preserve that.
Yeah.
And I don't care what anybody says, that is true.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to keep, it could be a person or it could be a pair of shoes.
Yep.
You need to preserve that.
Exactly.
If you don't preserve it, guess what happens to the shoes? They get wore out, they get run out.
Yeah. They're no good.
They're no good no more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that happens in relationships. That happens in every sense of the word. And some people don't understand the power of that. And I was one of them, dude. I'll tell you, I was one of them.
They don't just understand, but they don't accept, because there's truth behind when you accept that. There's a responsibility that comes with that.
Yeah, but okay, so here's the thing. Words.
Words.
I'm sorry. Apologies come with changed behavior.
Yep.
You know, and I've been on both sides of it. And you know, again, you know, I could say that, and I don't know if anybody else, maybe you can relate or not, but I was so brutal at one point that when I really engaged in my growth, because like I said, when I got sprinkled with the reward and the feeling of growth, I almost feel like it made me gentle and soft.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where I wasn't like I wouldn't let nobody like push me in a direction.
Yeah.
And when I was growing, I did. I became more accepting of someone's abuse. Mm-hmm. You know, so was it that I didn't love myself because I was growing?
Yeah.
And I was pouring love into myself? Was it empathy? Was it codependency? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Am I dependent on something that I was missing when I was younger? You know, and that is the galaxy of the things that we need to identify with.
Oh, yeah. That's really good. And once again, thank you for sharing that story. You took ownership. If I evaluate everything you just said, I think there was character growth when you have a level of maturity, when you realize that you're not the hero in your story. You were actually the villain. And how do you change that?
No, yeah. And, you know, again, there are times that, you know, I felt that I was being villainized when I was actually trying to do the right thing. Yeah. And actually, true growth comes from going through your suffering.
Yep.
From your darkness.
Even the nurturing part you said, that's not an overnight thing.
No.
That's time.
Okay, like training.
Yes.
Like dieting.
Yes.
Like building a home, like cooking a good meal.
Yes.
It takes time.
Time, right?
Right? It takes time for you to do the things you're supposed to do so you can reap the reward from it. So instead of like, okay, I'm done. Or this is too much. Like, what's too much?
What's too much?
Bettering yourself? Liberating yourself is too much? Doing what you have to do? Like, look, I won't mention any names. Some of my boys that I love very much, I've given them both a book. Going through their stuff, right? Over a year ago. I was with them the other day. So I said, hey, my dogs, how's the book? I haven't read it. That's the medicine. That's the key to relieve you of that suffering, because it did it for me and it's done it for millions of other people.
Yeah.
Because when you read a teaching that you implement, you get to experience. So you have cancer. Okay, I have the cure right here. But you're going to have to hike 20 mountains to get to it. And when you get there, it will be gone. 20 mountains? Like,
yeah. But you can't just give it to me right here. No, you got that process where we grow, that process where we learn. That 20 mountains is where you figure yourself out. You learn about yourself.
Exactly. Yes. So now when you grab this, you feel good.
You're able to appreciate that more.
About it. And I'm barely in my growth. I'm barely starting. It takes time. Like they use it takes time. as a filter, as an excuse
Yeah.
to allow them to continue in that stagnation, dude.
Yeah.
It's frustrating
It
for me
is.
sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
But you did your part in trying to improve theirs. They have to take the rest of the chance. So whether they touch that book or if they open it in 2 years.
No, I'm looking beyond the book.
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh, yeah,
looking
yeah,
like,
yeah.
how do you consciously not engage with something that can make you better?
Yeah.
Like, how?
Well, like you said, would you rather rush it or would you rather take your time and go through the process? Like, would you rather have a microwave meal or would you take the time and cook something fresh, brand like good home good cooking, or just throw a burrito in the microwave and get half hot, half cold, have it lukewarm and just have it? What's it gonna do? There's a difference of the food that you.
No, yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think if humanity really took a step back, like, I'm grateful every single day.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to reflect, reassess, take ownership, be accountable, and be able to be a better version of myself. But I do it.
Yeah.
I actually do it. And when in the midst of that, you know, your growth is going to show you, like, okay, let's see.
Yeah.
You'll have somebody say, you're not a true speaker. You're not this. You're this and you're this. Now, there's where the growth is going to,
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. I can't have your opinion
Yeah.
become my reality.
Yeah.
Like, your opinion is yours. My reality is mine. You know, but when you get caught up in the opinion of other people being your reality, then you're back in that jury box. Like, no.
Trying to justify.
Yeah, no. It wasn't like that. Like, you know what? I don't want to be on trial.
No.
I don't want to be under a microscope.
No.
I don't want to feel like I'm being, there's a conspiracy. I don't want to feel doubt. I'd rather be under the telescope.
Yeah.
I'd rather feel love.
Yep.
I'd rather feel forgiveness.
Yep.
I'd rather have acceptance. You know why? Because when you practice those things, it is the complete opposite of living in a world of vomit.
Yep. I'm going to live out love because I don't want to stay in hate. I'm going to live out of forgiveness because I don't want to stay in anger. I want to live out the opposite of what?
People want to take their time to grow, right?
Yeah.
But if I have $10 million for you right now, hey, I'm going to give you $1 a day. No, you want it all right now.
Yeah.
How about a quarter a day? No, I want it all right now. Yeah. Well, how come you don't want your growth like that? Yeah. How come you don't have the same energy to grow like that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I know that we could stay here and talk for years about this, but there are times, you know, that I sit and reflect and I'm just like, I don't understand it.
There are things we don't need to understand either.
Yeah.
We just let it go,
Yeah.
let it be. Because where you are right now, and it goes for anybody else, if you're improving, like purely improving, you're still making a difference, not just in yourself, but others around you. When we're in the car, I'm always inspired. I'm like, oh man, I just learned something new. And it's vice versa because I like to grow. I like to feed off your energy. I like to feed off your positivity. And it goes.
Same, likewise. Yeah, every time I see you, it's like, I do learn something.
You know, just yesterday.
We can drive for 5 hours and it'll seem like we drove for 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yesterday, I dropped off a book to someone that I just met that's like, you wrote a book, I want to read it, what's it about? And I go, and it was supposed to be like, it was a long day. It was supposed to be like a 5 minutes here. Hey, have a great one. I spent over an hour and a half with him, talking to him.
Yeah.
And we were just talking, speaking life into him. He's inspired, like, man, you could really talk. I'm like, I know, I got to stop. But you know, sometimes being in a positive place, sometimes being a leader, sometimes being someone that carries influence, you're going to be put in positions that's inconvenience for us, for someone else. So I'm realizing I'm speaking life into this guy that's feeling so down. So I'm going to be right there. And even though I want to go home and rest.
For sure.
And so his life, he texts me later on, like, man, I just thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for those encouraging words. Thank you for believing in me. Yeah. And I was like, I was just being me though.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, that's based on authenticity.
Yeah.
You know, just being you for real. I would encourage, apologize for real. Forgive for real.
Yes.
You know, live for real. Love for real. If you don't, the only thing it's going to do is expose you and betray yourself.
Yep.
If you want to preserve something, do it from a good place.
Come on now.
You know?
I love it.
Great conversation.
Hey, I love it. Till next time.
Yeah, till next time, man. You know, when we come back, I want to touch on some other things, but I will say this. You're an inspiration. I am honored that we are brothers.
Yes.
Like you said, whether we're in the car, whether we're in church, whether we're eating breakfast, whether we're in the gym, I want you to know that every single time I see you, I learn something positive from you.
I appreciate you and I love you, my brother.
No doubt.